Alright guys, I'm here with a bit of information for Dragon Ball Legends. So, the official Dragon Ball Legends Twitter accounts have tweeted out the next 2 Sparking units that are going to be coming in the next Legends Rising banner. And they are none other than Android 13, finally, but we all knew he was coming, and a brand new transforming Super Saiyan Trunks. So, since they tweeted about it, that means we have gameplay. So, let's take a look.
Every circuit of mine has been assembled for the sole purpose of your demise. How's that? Like that? Here go. How's that? SS Deadly Bomber! That the extent of your abilities? You're not getting away! Take this! I never give up!
So now that we've seen the gameplay, let's actually break it down. So starting off, we have Android 13. So it says Android 13 is coming. 13 gets plus 50% blast damage and reduced blast arts costs when there is another tag Android battle member. His damage goes even higher when tag Android battle members are defeated. Overclock your Android team with this fighter. So I think it's fairly self-explanatory. When in doubt, and you just so happen to be running an Android team, have Android 13 in the back. Do not throw him out in the very beginning, even though he does get that good 50% blast damage buff at the beginning, or I wouldn't even say at the beginning in general, if you have another Android battle member, but it seems as if he will, I guess, really shine if you have him as the last unit, because not only will he have the plus 50% blast damage, but then not only will he also get all the buffs from the potential Android team that you may make, whether it's blast damage or strike damage, but then if the 2 members on his team that so happen to be Android units die, he gets an even bigger buff. So that's not bad whatsoever. It only makes sense to keep him in the back, but at the same time, with that blast damage buff, so long as you have an Android unit on your actual like battle team, you'll still be fine. Like, it seems like he'll be able to deal like solid blast damage, and by default, they're kind of giving it away that he is a blast unit, but I digress. So he seems like he'll be able to stack on multiple buffs and then just unleash it in one fell swoop. Who knows? We also get to see, I guess, that's his green card. I don't know the name of this move. Obviously, it doesn't seem like it deals damage. I don't know what the properties are with that move in particular at all. But one of the biggest things that I saw is the fact that, of course, his ultimate attack is SS Deadly Bomber. But again, and I've said this in previous videos, we know that SS Deadly Bomber is a move that tracks the opponent, and they didn't really show that in this gameplay showcase. So we're not going to be able to truly see if, you know, this move can live to its fullest potential until, you know, the unit actually drops. Because I still think that with, you know, SS Deadly Bomber being in the game and its property being that it tracks the opponent, I initially thought that maybe if he shot the blast and it connected with the opponent, a scene would play where the opponent is quote unquote trying to dodge the attack, but it inevitably gets hit by it. But in the video, we clearly see that that's not the case. He just gets hit by the attack, which leads me to believe that if you vanish out of the way of SS Deadly Bomber, it's more than likely gonna come back and hit you. I can be entirely wrong. It's a logical guess because that is the main point of the move. You don't just shoot it out and then it just goes straight into oblivion. It tracks the opponent. So if you're to vanish out the way, I expect it to come back and hit the opponent. It's the only thing that makes sense. Now, granted, let's say that he throws out SS Deadly Bomber, you vanish, and then it comes back, and then you switch to like another character if you just so happen to have the opportunity to do so. And then with that character, you vanish the move, you know, from hitting you, I should say. I don't think it should track the opponent more than just once. So the initial shot isn't obviously tracked. It tracks after you vanish. So if you swap out a character and you vanish out the way, then that should be it. I don't think that if you vanish, then it tracks you again. I don't think that would be fair. those are just my quick thoughts on the move. But again, we won't figure out everything until, you know, Android 13 drops. Not only that, I do love the extra attention to detail that they added with this unit concerning his hat. Now, we all know like the big meme about, you know, trucker hat, Android 13 and whatnot, but it's the fact that if he takes damage, his hat falls off. It's small details like that that I can really genuinely appreciate. Not only that, it's also the fact that they gave him that perk in a mobile game, but in Xenoverse 2, he doesn't even have his hat, and that makes no sense to me whatsoever. They could have definitely have given him that type of perk in Xenoverse 2, but they chose not to. But hey, they put it in Legends. I'm happy that we got it in general. But that's practically everything, or at least my own thoughts on Android 13. Now we move on to Trunks. So it says, Trunks teen is coming. Goes Super Saiyan with his main ability. His special skill buffs special move damage, then destroys your strike and blast arts to buff it even more for each card destroyed. Show your enemies the hidden power of a Super Saiyan. So getting a buff from like destroying your cards is nothing new. If I'm not mistaken, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta does something similar, where if you use his special ult, the more cards you have in your hand, then the stronger your special ult will be, because it will destroy all those cards and then add it to the damage for that particular move. So even though this is executed differently, because from what it sounds like, it's going to be the green card, you use that, and then obviously the more cards you have in your hand, the stronger his attacks will be. So it's kind of the same concept, just executed slightly different. But it's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, you're still buffing up like a move that's going to deal a lot of damage initially, but now even more so. So that in its own right is not bad. And of course, he's another transforming unit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can never really have too many of those, seeing that a lot of characters in Dragon Ball, well, transform. But the main thing that I'm worried about concerning this Trunks is the fact that, and this is, as of this moment, you can check out the details of these characters on the game, because it shows that, well, you know, touching 13 real quick, 13 is a blue unit, thank God, because I was gonna say if it was a purple, a yellow, or a green unit for Android, we don't really need that right now. We need a red and a blue unit, and he's a blue unit. So all we need now is a solid red unit. I digress. But Trunks is a purple unit, and that I find somewhat problematic, because for all the classes, or tags I should say, that he would be in, he would not replace the purple units of those tags. So for example, if you were to get the hybrid Saiyan tag, then he would practically be competing with Goten, and Goten is a really good purple hybrid Saiyan unit. So Trunks would have to be insanely good to try to top Goten. Not saying that it's impossible, but it's going to be tough, especially because Goten also has legendary finish, deals a crap ton of damage, plus, I mean, it looks awesome. If he were to be on Vegeta family, then he would have to go up against Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, and with that, he's also a good unit. And not only that, he also has a counter, so it's gonna be really tough for him to try to, I guess, top Vegeta. And then if you were to go with Super Saiyan, you're up against Super Vegeta, and that's just an automatic loss. So again, I don't doubt that this Trunks could be a good unit, but the characters that he has to go up against to try to either overtake or be able to properly stand side by side with these units, I'm not really sure. Again, these are just my own personal thoughts. Again, everybody can like run teams differently, and for all you know, somebody might find it beneficial to run Trunks with Goten at the same time, or Trunks with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta at the same time, or Trunks with Super Vegito at the same time. Who knows? Like, anything is possible, but just from initially thinking about it, it's like if he wants to try to overtake one of those units, it's not really looking too bright in that regard. But I digress on that. Plus, we get to see his ultimate attack. I don't even think that move has a name. So it will have a name by the time the unit drops. But I've seen this move before. It's the end of Trunks' I believe light string in Dragon Ball Fighters. I mean, I've seen it before. It just doesn't have a name. So when it drops, you know, we'll finally be able to see what they decide to call it. Not only that, it has blast armor, so that's also good as well. But apart from all of that, that is everything. concerning the Legends Rising banner, we're getting Trunks and we're also getting Android 13. I'm gonna try to get them both, especially Android 13, because like I have a strong feeling that maybe if things go well, Android, like that tag can really start getting on the come up. And I want to make sure that I'm prepared for it, but at the same time, with how strong Saiyans in general, like full-blooded Saiyans, hybrid Saiyans, Super Saiyans, like they're so good. Like you can't go wrong with getting Trunks as well. But I do want to know, what are you guys' thoughts on these two units, and especially Android 13 in particular, because I know a lot of people have been wanting him in the game since we got 14 and 15. But still, what are you guys' thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.